Hello and welcome to Grassy Podcast, a podcast about your life, their life, my life, our life. And I am Gracing Matug, your host today. In today's episode, we will discuss educators' transition to some form of online teaching due to the global pandemic and students adapt to flexible learning with our guest, Liza Matog. We'll discuss the ins and outs of this and offer listeners a special agenda. Be sure to listen all the way through for the details. Hello and welcome! Hello world, I am Liza, your guest host today. So for today's episode about our chika, we will focus on the educators' transition to the online teaching and to the flexible learning of the students and how they adapt it. Okay now, so we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic led to a sudden shift to online teaching and restricted campus access. Yes, you're right, Gracine. The sudden shift to digital teaching was challenging for students, but it appears that they adapted quickly to the new situation. Educators transition to some form of online teaching due to the global pandemic and students adapt to flexible learning was implemented for students to be able to do education despite of the situation. Okay, however, educational institutions are compelled to adapt the online mode to educate the children. The synchronous technology allows for live interaction between the instructors and the student, just like for example, the Google Classroom, Google Meet, and so on. While asynchronous technology involves significant delays in time and between instruction and its receipt. For example, emails, video recording, and also discussion forums, and so on. It has been long acknowledged that online instructional methods are inefficient tools for learning. However, online learning can be challenging for students because of the limited nonverbal communication. Teachers are leading the way in adapting what learning, supporting students, and creating a safe space look like with their student. They are drawing on best practices, learning through trial and error, and mixing in some institution and empathy to best support their students. So now Glyza will be giving her insight about this topic, and she will also added on a simple advice, a simple quote about everything that we have tackled today. Okay, thank you so much, Christine. So hopefully this topic around the country provide a jumping off point to guide how you will continue to adapt your leadership, support, and learning in your community as well as in your school. If there is one thing that this pandemic has taught us, it is that we must be flexible and we must adapt so students, teachers, and everyone can learn, grow, and thrive. Students and teachers have been incredibly resilient and are counting on you to do the same. So that's the end of our today's episode, and thanks to Liza for joining us today and to our listeners for being with us today. Please don't forget to review, rate, and subscribe to or follow our podcast in YouTube and Facebook. Podcast name, Grassy Podcast. So I will bidding my goodbye. I am Gracine. Thanks for listening and thanks for joining us this week on Grassy Podcast.